Yes, sir.
Okay. So good morning all to all of you. And the topic for this today lecture, I mean, they advised me to talk about power converter for renewable energy system and their controls. Typically, of course, it is in domain of the integration of alternate energy resource in smart grid. What is the theme of your FDP? I mean, like of this. So, without much time, first I would like to little bit introduce the typically of the system, and then we'll come to typically of electron power converter and their control. So, coming from typically your energy industry ecosystem, if you look into the renewable energy, I mean, we have a non-conventional coal and oil gas, and now we have a renewable solar, wind, biofuel, hydro, small hydro you can call it, and fuels and others. So the question is like solar came probably among the last, but it jumped to the highest because of the growth. I mean, one is the cost reduction, another is the growth in the technology. So both are responsible for this. And typically, if you consider the power scenario, we have a 23.67% renewable today with the 89 gigawatt, order of more than 89 or might be today 90 gigawatt, because these are the data of September 30 September or so on the website of Central Electricity Authority. And day by day it is increasing, and out of that you can just see how it is the distribution like of different I mean power generation out of the total capacity of your I mean in India power generation and this is of course on the basis of different power sources, thermal, hydro, renewable also, and then state kind of plan wise how it has been introduced in the past, and then of course the peak and energy generated, I mean typically, and now it is something little observation that coal generation is reducing, start reducing, because 23% renewable is reasonable now, and it's increasing day by day. I mean and typically that is about the power consumption. If you look into probably a decade before, I mean it was I mean almost like a typically into around 15 year 300 636 per capita consumption of energy, and today is going to be like a typically almost like a 1200, means which is going to be almost double, I mean, so certainly you can call it in 15 years we are able to have a almost double the generation, but now it will go exponentially because many other activities also we want through electricity now, and renewable is coming on the big way. So why we require renewable energy? Because most of electricity comes from coal, nuclear, and other non-conventional energy sources, and producing energy from these sources takes a severe toll on environment, especially polluting the air, land, and water. And renewable energy sources can be used to produce electricity with reduced environmental impact, and that is the major reason. And of course, fossil fuel are now not renewable, and their quantity is finite, and it's reducing day by day. And of course, another is typically about the your pollution level from different, I mean, I can leave the slide and you can probably go through, because we have to cover finally the power converters required for all these renewable, I mean, also. So these are the some of the factors and how it is going to be the emission. I mean, why renewable? These are the justification why we have to go renewable. I mean, and renewable don't have it that much. I mean, you can call it. So the renewable which we like to do today, it's like a solar, typically the photovoltaic, of course wind, and then we like to go hydro. I mean, kind of what kind of converter required in that. And now all these renewable, including the hydro, small hydro, they also start using the power converter or so. Well, this is typically the some data how it has been achieved typically in 2021, April to September, typically in 6 months, and what typically the total generation of renewable also. And then there's different power like a wind, how much it is, solar is how much it is. So solar have gone jump like anything in the last few years, I mean, also. And this is typically the state-wise growth, I mean, of the throughout the country up to now. And a lot of projects start coming, and now of course the price are even of solar or renewable in general going down day by day. I mean, so these are the some of the typically the data that why solar should be there, because solar is available at every place. I mean, and the cost is reducing day by day. I mean, you will not believe in Middle East it's already be 1 rupee per unit, but in India we also is able to reduce in the Gujarat latest tender in last week, it has been 1 rupee 99 paisa. So less than, it has already gone less than 2 rupee, but maybe 5-6 years it may touch 1 rupee per unit. Like, so that is the, because another reason is it is every place and there is a lot of potential of solar. I mean, we estimated more than 2000 gigawatt is the potential in the of solar PV typically in different places, because you can put everywhere, like maybe rooftop or otherwise, like, I mean, or so. Well, these are the some of the issues, like, I mean, why we should have, like, I mean, and this is the, typically the solar world scenario. I mean, if you look into the data, how it is, solar is increasing day by day, and we are not so bad in the growth. Typically, I mean, as far as the growth is concerned, we are third, but absolute term, we are typically the fifth. Like, I mean, here you can just see, I mean, in top 10 country. So we are going quite good, like in that way. Maybe if the growth goes further, I mean, like we can probably go much higher than other countries, like, I mean, and these are how the growth is there in the past in Japan, different countries, Germany, I mean, like in India, the top 5 countries till above than us. Okay, how the growth is then of the solar, like, I mean, and of course it slowed down because of corona, but it's not like that much impact, and now it's again picking up. I mean, like, also there are a lot of benefit for which we can probably use it, this you can call it the solar for the purpose of the benefit of the people. And this is the important data, that what is the, how the solar map is there. Okay, and we have somehow, I mean, the whole country lie between probably 4 to typically 6 or 7, you can call it like kilowatt per meter square, kilowatt hour per meter square. I mean, you can, how much you can have like a typically generation farm. And then of course the project by different state, I mean, like how it is they are going to be, I mean, like also, and highest have been the Karnataka, and then other are coming up at very fast rate. And what is the energy and all that. And this is something important data, like 4 to 7 kilowatt hour per square meter per day is the typically. And at the moment they are saying there is a potential around 740 gigawatt only in 3% of wasteland to be covered. Only that is only 3% wasteland. So you can understand there is a further lot of rooftop and other places also there which can be. So I mean, we just look into more than 2000 gigawatt is the total potential in India. Like earlier, which were saying only probably 100 or typically 127. That, I mean, like, so day by day, I mean, of course the federal government have increased from 20 gigawatt to 100 gigawatt by on 2015 to be achieved by 2022. Like, I mean, that's virtually a special, you can call it region, that by 2022, because we will be celebrating our 75 years of the independence, like, also. And well, this is already data 5th rank of India in the world, I mean, in absolute term, and the growth and all that. So these are typically anyhow the how the government of India has launched various schemes to encourage solar generation. I mean, through different scheme and including the rooftop. And these are the some data how it has gone to in last few years, like, to come up the data either off grid mode or whether grid connected mode or so. I mean, like, and typically the different plants. I mean, the different like a lamp and lantern, then solar pump, solar light, then light home solar home lighting system, and then solar plant or park. And these are the typical in different stage by the data of all. And this is about the data, that how many street lighting, how much your typically data, and how much your typically the your power generation of the plant, and then the pump. I mean, you have a like a typically now 2.6 lakh, more than 2.6 lakh pump in PM Kusum scheme, Yojana of solar. And these are the 5 typically major investment, like, I mean, how Brookfield have to have Power $800 million investment, I mean, in the project, and then Bardla in Rajasthan, another project. So these are, I mean, the top 5 project. First is this one, 2.25 gigawatt in typically in Bardla village of Rajasthan, and the second project is your Shakti Sthal solar project in again 2 gigawatt in Karnataka, then 1 gigawatt in Andhra, and 750 megawatt in Madhya Pradesh, and typically this is in 648 megawatt like a Tamil Nadu. These are the individual 5 big projects, like, I mean, which are probably 2.2, I mean, 648 megawatt to around 2.2 gigawatt, like that is the typical rating of this solar plant, like, I mean, largest solar plant. And the Adani have a typically, who are the builders like Adani Group with 12.3 gigawatt, then GCL 7.1 gigawatt, SB Energy 7 gigawatt, then NL Green Power 6 gigawatt, and Brookfield Renewable typically 5.7 gigawatt or so. So these are the five, let's say you can call it company which, or solar PV builders. So those were the five plants, just to give you an information, and you can have a look how these solar typically farms look like. I mean, okay, in remote location, typically grid connected remote location, how it is there. Then for the other application like a standalone application like a ticketing machine, parking, and then street, typically, or you can call it like a street light or telecom towers. That is one of the major applications is coming up. We have more than around 5 lakh telecom tower. So they, I mean, government have already asked to reduce the diesel consumption because they have a like a genset and battery. So they want, okay, you must now put the solar panel so that you can reduce the diesel consumption, because they are the second largest of diesel consuming organization after the railway. So second is the telecom tower, and you cannot avoid the telecom power because you need the typically the mobile phone, like another is the solar water pumping system, like also. Another is typically like your typically application in your street lighting, and then solar parking, then your power in space satellite also, then the solar window, roof tiles. So a lot of application military usage. You can just see how the military man, taking this, and how you are just charging appliances, and how it is movable. Appliances also, they have a panel like, for military application. Then transportation. Transportation means you can think even simple e-rickshaw, like, or you can look into typically little larger vehicle, or you can have a typically you can call it like a typically the stand or the trains. So all places like solar is coming, solar PV coming big way. Like then there's of course on rooftop, on off grid, as well as grid connected grid roof for residential applications like typically, and then you have a like a home, ground, as well as tracking. And then this is typically, you can call it like in China, 2000, they put so much energy from this typically of total generation of around 1.84%. Like how the panel, and this is your canal top. When we are present Prime Minister, when he was the Chief Minister in Gujarat, it was 1 megawatt first project, okay, on rooftop of on the canal top, like. And we were estimating that even each canal have around potential of 2 gigawatt. So if you have 100 canal, so you can easily have like a 200 gigawatt potential, like And that time you will not believe what the reporter was writing. They were writing so many cubic water can be saved by putting panel on the typically on the canals, like And then of course in the Karnataka that I talk about 2.05 gigawatt largest solar park, and then your second largest. This is the typically tariff is also 2.44 in Barla, Rajasthan, second largest, third, and then rooftop, largest rooftop in 7.52 megawatt in Amritsar, Dera Vyas. And then, so this is about the solar, some idea of solar in worldwide as well as in India. And then another is your wind. Like, of course, you can understand solar came later, but built up at very fast rate. And of course, the second renewable is the wind, which have come in the last couple of decades very fast. Like, I already mentioned that sometime that you have many 3-4 incidents in the world about the energy crisis, and then the people start building up these technology with the renewable. And wind was already, technology was available, only it had to improve. But solar have to build up in the big way. But solar have come very boost more than the wind. So wind also have changed the research, R&D have changed the scene of the wind. I've seen in 1992, even Okhalamba, Dwarka, Denmark made turbine with a fixed speed turbine, like of course with the pitch control. Two machine connected, like a 4-pole and 6-pole machine for typically 50 kilowatt 6-pole and 200 kilowatt 4-pole machine connected typically on the same shaft with the 40 kVAr capacitor, and typically a park of a megawatt. Like in typically in Okhalamba, Dwarka, on the coastal area of Gujarat near Porbandar. So technology was just like a squirrel cage induction generator, and you overspeed it above synchronous, and then you start generating. Very simple concept, like But you can understand in last couple of decades there have been a lot of revolution in the wind by putting of course, in solar, we will talk about converter, that without converter, because it's a DC and you want to use for either some application or to the grid, you require power converter. And here also in the wind, I mean, those were not requiring that much power converter, only the soft starter was there. But typically year 2000, I mean, GE came with the DFIG, where you required to double converter. So now all the machine other than DC machine are in wind generation, depending upon the power level, starting from, I mean, typically 300 watt to going to be like a 8 megawatt single, let's say, turbine. And all the machines are used. And some of the machine which we have forgotten, like a doubly fed or wound rotary induction machine, it has really come as a doubly fed induction generator. And typically you will not believe, like I mean, like all the now wind generation system, wind energy conversion system have like a double converter. I mean, means you have to, because why we are have a double converter? Because if you operate the wind turbine at variable speed, you are able to generate around 50% more energy, same wind blowing. So 50% energy is really huge. So because of that reason, we have to operate at variable speed this wind turbine. And when you operate wind turbine at variable speed, certainly generator also runs at variable speed. And when generator runs at variable speed, all these brushless generator, normally they generate at variable frequency, variable voltage. So you have to certainly rectification it and then invert it to put the grid. I mean, in most of the cases, except your doubly fed induction generator, where the stator is directly connected to the grid, but rotor is again through double converter. So around 30 to 35% power is processed through rotor converter, through double converter, but other power is directly fed to the grid, and that's has an OLED. And you can take a benefit of operating variable speed and getting again 50% more generation in that case also, energy generation. So wind is the another one, and I told you why, like a wind you have, okay, what is the configuration, that you have a wind turbine, then you have a generator with a gearbox. I mean, like you can call it, other than conventional synchronous machine, silent pole synchronous machine, which can be designed with a higher number of poles to be directly connected without gear, or permanent machine can be also designed with the very low speed order of like a 50 to 150 RPM, which is a wind turbine speed. But all other machines normally need the gear. So normally if we are using an induction motor like doubly fed induction generator, so we require 3-stage gear to bring it to speed around like a 1500 RPM, the synchronous speed, with a 4-pole machine, and the speed varies of the machine from 1000 to 2000 RPM with around 30% slip or so. In that case, the double converter put in the rotor with the power control. So you have a generator, you have a typically the controller and power converter, and then you put like a typically transformer, and then through production it goes to the grid, typically with power control. So sometimes you have a energy storage also to take care your intermittency of the generation, so that grid is not too much affected by varying the wind generation like also. So a lot of concepts have come in the last couple of decades, and a lot of industry are manufacturing the wind turbine. I will come to, of course, this is again typically the advantage, some of the advantage, but there are a lot of challenges because it's again intermittent, and worldwide capacity of wind already gone to more than 650 gigawatt in 2019, and Asia reached to 90 gigawatt, and India typically order of 38 gigawatt, like I mean, or so. India is the 4th largest in wind install capacity and 2nd highest in the Asia. That is about typically the how the wind has gone already. I talk about, and the tariff is going down day by day, and potential in, of course, is quite large. We already talk about the lot of they put the lot of wind, typically the wind station to see the wind, and they come out with the 302 gigawatt either typically in the country of 100-meter or ahead level of ground level, and most of the potential lie in 7 wind state. These are the 7 wind state. What is the wind potential? Okay, I mean, like of so in megawatt, like I mean, and typically the all other state also, and how the wind typically you can call it like a cumulative is coming up the wind installation or so, and you can call it like at the moment we are here 37 point typically 37.7 gigawatt on March 2020. I mean, like of course every day, and this is different states here, and certainly this is the how it has gone in the last 1 decade from 2010 to 2000, typically like a 19, and worldwide capacity, how it has worldwide capacity cross already 630 gigawatt, like which I already mentioned it, like, and the growth is substantial. You can see it around 190 gigawatt to like it gone to 620 gigawatt, 630 gigawatt or 650 gigawatt, how it is going to in the last. So these are the some of the data just for sake of information how we are here. I mean, typically on the fourth place in on wind power generation, like also. And these are the different manufacturer of generator power rating. I mean, starting from typically going to be how it has gone to like even a 6 or to 8 gigawatt now by different companies. Like you can see the many names you could not have heard about, but some name you could have heard about like GE, Vestas, Enercon. I mean, they are visible in India, but many companies are they're not easily available. I mean, available in India, but they are manufacturing in different power range. Starting typically your, if you talk about like a kind of 100, I mean like a 50 to 60 kilowatt, going to be like a typically 10,000 kilowatt, means around like a 6 to 8 gigawatt each unit, like also. And then these are the technology, how it is the typically you are having by different companies like there is a GE, Siemens, Vestas, RE Power, Multibird or Enercon, and what is the typically their type and what is the rated power. So you just see it has gone already 6 up to 6 megawatt is already commercially available for a long time. Of course, you can call it rotor diameter is 114 meter, like and they are using without typically gearless. If they are using a cell and pole synchronous machine with the gearless, as well as they are using permanent synchronous generator also with the gearless. But if you take a like a doubly fed induction generator or skull cage induction generator with double converter, of course, and then they are having a 3-stage gear. PMSG sometime without gear or sometime with single stage gear also. So you will find like a starting from 2 megawatt to typically going to individual unit of 6 megawatt by different industries and different technology, and what is the blade size and what are the converter like also. So in DFIG, of course, again we put a converter, but on the rotor side with the rating of typically around 30 to 35%. Both the converter is around 60 to 70% only, not more than that. But of course, in other machine other than DFIG, you need the converter of full rating. I mean, you have to process the entire power, whether it's synchronous machine, cell and pole synchronous machine, or you have a permanent synchronous machine or skull gauge machine, like also. So these are typically the industry what range they are manufacturing, and these are the some of the data like from the industry like Suzlon, okay, 2.1 gigawatt, and these are the like a data from like a different industry like Vestas, typically what kind of generator, PM generator, PMSM they are using, okay, or they are using skull cage machine typically, and what is the rotor diameter, all the data. And Vestas also like they are using a doubly fed, okay, you can just see the doubly fed, and what is the rating going to be up to 8, I mean like a typically of order of 8 gigawatt, like 8 megawatt, sorry, each unit. And then another industry, and you have a lot. But you can see the WFET is lot of industry are manufacturing. I mean, even a PMSG permanent generator also of reasonably large rating. You can think about like here, Siemens is manufacturing like a 6 direct drive without gear around 6 megawatt individual unit with the rotor diameter around 154 meter, like and here you can think about 7 gig PMSM of 7 megawatt with the 171 meter diameter, rotor diameter. So you, and doubly fed the induction generator by your Senevin as well as from Vestas. I mean, so a lot of industry are making, or typically by GE. I mean, you have a GE DFIG varying from power range starting from 1 megawatt to 5 megawatt, typically order of so. And then Enercon, they are using cell and pole synchronous machine. I mean, like cell and pole synchronous machine again with variable speed, varying from 2 megawatt to 800 kilowatt to up to 7.5 megawatt, order of that. Like, I mean, here even you have to scale down the technology, or Gamesa, you are using PMSG, DFIG also. So reasonable company are making like a DFIG or like air conventional, your squirrel cage induction with dual speed, or your typically DFIG or pole changing also some company have made earlier, but lower rating only, like also. So these are the some of the industry which are. So you have a normally two type of turbine, like horizontal and vertical, and you can see the photograph here both, like how it is vertical and how it is your horizontal turbine. Normally in sandy area we put horizontal, vertical, and normal place otherwise it is a horizontal, like also. And normally you can just see largest capacity, installed capacity of 8 gigawatt, Gamesa, plant capacity of 20 gigawatt, that is in China. I mean, like the plant of like of 8 gigawatt is already there, but they have planned for it to expand it typically of 20 gigawatt, single largest onshore wind farm. and you offshore, I mean into the water, this is 1.1, 1.2, 18 gigawatt. I mean like a 174 unit of 7 gigawatt here in UK. I mean like, so you can see it is offshore, means in all turbines are in water and they are getting quite good power, like 1.2 gigawatt like. Well, any question or any doubt? I think some. Okay, so these are anyhow some of the data like
Sir,
in
excuse me,
typically.
sir.
Yes.
Once again, I want to know about vertical and horizontal turbines, where we can use them.
No, normally the vertical turbine is used in the sandy areas. Okay,
Okay, sir.
like
Okay, sir.
Rajasthan where the sand is there, and this is otherwise these are used. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sand will not stay on that like, okay. And these are of course the installation, you can call it in Tamil Nadu of 1.5 gigawatt. The wind turbine, so in India also like Jaisalmer on by Suzlon of 1.06 megawatt. The unit of 350 or 350 to 2.1 megawatt turbine, 350 kilowatt to 2.1, and Maharashtra 528 megawatt, let us say you can call it wind farm, and then 528 in typically again in Maharashtra, then another in Sangli, Maharashtra. Okay, the plant of this capacity, and 270 again in the Maharashtra. So you have a lot of plant in Maharashtra also because of coastal areas, and the in Madhya Pradesh also you have with 67 turbine of 1.5 gigawatt, out of that 5 SI, or typically in Karnataka 56.1 megawatt, 34 turbine of Vestas of your 1.6 megawatt of diameter of 82 meter. Typically like, so first this is first gigawatt offshore plant in typically in India, they are planning to. So these are anyhow some of the data like you like to know probably about the wind generation. Okay. Now coming to hydro, typically hydro is also renewable, but certainly a large hydro takes long time. I mean almost a generation like 25 years to build up the dam and all that. But a small hydro is now coming in the way, like, okay, typically like, I mean like a small hydro with the not in different part of India we have a small hydro like Himachal, like you can call it like Himalayan region, like a Uttarakhand, as well as the typically Western Ghat in Karnataka, as well as the Northeast. So a lot of scope is there for small hydro. Apart from Nepal, lot of scope is there. Like, so these are typically like a small hydro, how it is there, like typically like, and you can have a small kind of concept of hydro, typically the data related to, and with the small different kind of turbine concept, like also how the Pelton of small rating, you can think about Pelton turbine or different kind of I mean like small hydro, you can call it like a micro hydro goes even for few hundred megawatt, also up to 100 megawatt out of that, but otherwise the many unit are all like 100 kilowatt or less than. And how the turbine generator system is there, typically of lower rating, not very high rating. You can think about how we put a pico of 10, we call it like a family of less than 1 kilowatt, then the peak of less than 10 kilowatt, and micro less than 100 kilowatt, and then the mini less than 1 megawatt. Okay, typically of course they can be like a islanded grid, or it can be single house also, or it can be partial grid, or it grid connected kind of things. So these are the kind of hydro, small hydro also. And how it is, the basic concept is there. Okay, you are having a runoff river or canal, and you take the intake from there and you just pass on to a kind of, I've seen in Western Ghat this kind of arrangement, and you just have a penstock and you have like a small powerhouse, and later stream goes to the same river or canal. So this can be on canal or it's on the rivers also. We call it runoff river kind of the plant, or it can be on the canal also, like typically like. So but these are of I mean kind of, and you can even have pump storage also there, like typically concept. So there are a lot of concept into that is coming up now, they are picking up, like a small hydro also, typically in the country or around the how it is in the throughout the world as well as in India, like. So this is typically the capacity of hydro in India kind of concept, like is building up, and especially on canal and all that is coming up big way, like, I mean also. So some of the data potential of the hydro typically, like, I mean. Or another is like a typically on a hydro project itself, like we call floating solar. Okay, you can see the floating solar I mean, project coming up of typically 7.6 terawatt solar project on water bodies. In India also, I think in Canada, they are trying typically in Andhra also on like how is the typically placement of this on the water body like also. And you can see the water body here, how they are installing like a 20 gigawatt typically on power project like also in different part of the and Himachal like typically the hydro like so it's something like on people are planning now putting this along with the hydro even solar also on water body if it is available in China. The lot of you can think about what is the rating of the hydro project like biggest hydro, 5 biggest like this is the first 22.5 gigawatt in China, then the Brazil 14 gigawatt, and then China again 13.86 gigawatt of hydroelectric, then the Venezuela 10.2 gigawatt, 9.35 gigawatt. These are the 5 biggest hydro project like also. And then in India, of course, you can find 5 biggest like a 2.4 gigawatt Tehri, then Koyana Hydro 1.96 gigawatt, then Sirsa Dam like Lime Dam 1.67 gigawatt, and then Napta Jhagri Dam 1.53 gigawatt, and Sardar Sarovar Dam 1.45 gigawatt. So these are the in India 5 the biggest one. Now this was a little bit idea to give you like what we have in 3 renewable, like we'll be talking about solar, wind and hydro, how the typically you can think about we use the power converter to start with. Well, what we did little bit and what we can think about how power converter can be used in these 3 renewable like. So, I mean, I asked one of our student like how you have a PV panel, and then normally we use the boost converter for MPPT, maximum power tracking. Because panel cannot give, I mean, extract the power without putting any kind of, I mean, like some power electronics converter. So boost converter is one of them. Maybe other converter you can use buck converter or boost converter, buck boost converter. But boost converter is very popular for different power conversion, and you can charge the battery, which is normally, I mean, you have a battery in many applications, like maybe like a telecom tower, which I also mentioned. Now people have a concept like coming up, even you might have seen on the street side also, roadside also, people are charging the battery for their even the use for evening or night. I mean, from the solar panel lying there. So there, what we use it this boost converter with the maximum power tracking. Normally, the design is the panel. I mean, like open circuit voltage can be equal to the battery voltage, and this voltage, I mean, when you extract the power, certainly voltage will try to go down, and you have to boost only that much because no load voltage of this panel was equal to battery voltage. You can design for, because then in that case only you will have a minimum current for a given power. Okay, and then you can extract the power by doing MPPT. So little voltage will go down, that much boosting only you have to do by boost converter. So rating of the component, like especially the boost converter component, will be minimum in that case, like also. That is the concept, but boost converter, I can tell you like why we use the boost converter, like kind of. And of course, this is the concept of MPPT. There are a lot of maximum power tracking algorithm. This is one of our students did, like typically of maximum power tracking algorithm of variety of nature, like even like finding out your global MPPT, because local MPPT is also there. So in partial setting conditions also, and the hardware also they build up in the laboratory and then tested the concept or algorithm also. In that case, the different algorithm, I mean, like they tested with this kind of platform. This is something like what I mentioned, that you can have a experiment also, typically with the boost converter and the solar, either simulator or the panel, and to charge the battery like over. So then, of course, another applications is like a typically grid connected, might be like rooftop. Okay, can be single stage or double stage, and you may have a lot of problems. So this is a typical example of single stage. You can have a solar, and then you have an inverter. Why put the diode? Because reverse power will not flow. And this is your inverter, single phase voltage inverter, which is connected to the grid. Okay, and you can call it like a DC is converted into AC, and this converter are doing many functions. So one function is to convert DC into AC. Another is also responsible to do MPPT. Okay, to control this DC link voltage equal to your MPPT voltage of the solar by control of this, like. So that is another function by this, doing MPPT as well as conversion of DC into AC. And another function we introduce here, that this converter also should generate like a typically compensation of this nonlinear load. Are you able to follow? So it means this grid current should become sinusoidal and unity power factor. So if this non-linear load also need harmonics or reactive power, this converter should provide. So you can understand with proper control, this converter can do, I mean, like a 1 is MPPT. Of course, the converter is used from DC conversion to AC conversion. It does MPPT, it does the load compensation and make this current at unity power factor on the grid. So all those functions are done by this single voltage source converter. I mean, like in this single stage system, like also. And of course, this is the control for that, which we modify. And you can just see here the voltage of the grid and current, which are in phase at unity power factor. Yes, some question?
Sir, yeah, sir, can in that topology, single stage topology.
Yes. Oh, sorry. Okay. Let me go back. Okay.
Sir, I have one doubt that when we go for the single stage topology, we don't have that another converter. So MPPT is to be considered in that inverter itself.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
So that this kind of topology will work good under partial shading condition, because that time the variation in voltage to operate at MPPT over is going to be over a very wide range.
Try to understand these systems are used in rooftop. We have a, of course, not the single phase, but we have a 3-phase system on our rooftop of 2 megawatt. I mean, in each megawatt, there are 46 units of 20 kilowatt. Panel is of 22 kilowatt, but so inverter is 20 kilowatt. Okay, 3-phase and single stage. So they design a system in a manner, and you can understand on rooftop, we expect there is no kind of partial shading. Okay.
Okay.
So we use in application where there is no partial shading. I mean, you can understand on rooftop. I mean, normally depends. I mean, that's why the manufacturer, this company is not ready to put the installation in some of the places because they are supplying single stage. Okay. So you have a lot of application where you might not, you don't have a partial shading except the cloud and all that. Okay. And the voltage even in that single stage is varying 560 volt to 850 volt in 3-phase system. They design the, I mean, the panel, you can call it panel and inverter in such a manner that it is not a transformer, it is directly grid connected, or 415 volt supply, you can call it 400, 415, whatever it is there, the 3-phase grid. And they are having a DC varying from 560 to typically like 850 volt. Are able to follow? Like, I mean, so that is the kind of, so there are a lot of applications. I mean, majority of installation you will find they are single stage. Only some start coming in double stage, but we have to understand, look, we did a lot of research in double stage also. I will talk you later in some slide, but you can understand the commercial viability goes little different what we really think about. Okay. The research is always 8 to 10 years ahead. We also did a lot of things on double stage. Now some industry are coming with the double stage. I mean, I'm not supposed to deliver a lecture on solar, but anyhow, once you ask the question, I have to clarify because it's a converter. So you can call it like a, there is a, people are using in general at the moment in on the application, normally typically the single stage only, because they say cost will increase. Okay, if you put double stage. So that is there. So it worked very well. I mean, like maybe for academy, I will tell you why we have to go double stage also and what is the benefit of double stage, how you can improve the system for double stage. But normally the installation which are there in practice now at the moment, I mean, I'm talking about like you already have a 40 gigawatt, majority of the system are, of course, single stage. I hope that partially, I mean, satisfy to your question. Okay.
Yeah, and in addition to that, I would like to ask you that whether one should go for Z source inverter kind of topology, where actually in a way we do not require second stage, but that Z source will give you some sort of voltage control also.
I mean, in commercial units, so far nobody have used the, people start using a double stage. I'll tell you, okay, some industry have come with the double stage, but nobody came Z source. There are some technology which goes into academic world, okay?
Okay.
And we may be, I'm not sure, I'm not too against or favor of your Z source, but time will tell whether people will get convinced by using the Z source or not. I mean, you can use in place of voltage source converter, also current source converter. And I can tell you probably IIT Kanpur Professor SP Das used 10 years back the current source converter. Okay. And current source converter have a specific benefit. Your partial setting can be also taken care because your voltage source converter is a buck converter from DC to AC side. are able to follow with the control. But
Yeah.
the current source converter from DC to AC side is a boost converter, so it can take partial shading also into account. But even then, they demonstrated those benefits, and lot of research paper are there for current source converter. Even I also procure current source converter in my lab, but commercially industry are not accepting this current source converter because of several reasons. Are able to follow? Like losses are more. You require the on the DC side the bulky or large inductor. So there are, of course, and you need a kind of another heavy capacity filter on AC side. So how the power electronics technology are going? I mean, it's much different. Like I mean, typically, so people will not like to use the technology. I mean, academic world or research world is different. Maybe after 10 years one can think about using, but you have to justify why the present system is not so good. I hope it answered partially to your question. Like,
Yeah, sir. Thank you.
okay,
Thank you very much.
okay. So then this is the control, and typically, and these are the typical result. I mean, you can think about if any question is there on the control, then I can answer it. I mean, so you can call it the current is out of the phase with the voltage, but at unity power factor, it means power is fed to the grid. We took a convention in a way that current typically, I mean, going to out of the grid because the load is connected. But it is out of the phase means power fed to the grid and part of the power goes to the load. And we are able to get typically, I mean, unity power factor with of course 180 degree here. That is also cos 180 is -1, so that is also unity power factor also. So and the TAD we are able to get in current voltage TAD. Of course, the grid was 1.2%, but the current TAD around 1.4%. So reasonably good current TAD with the 409 watt going to the grid with the small system. And this is typically like again you can call it like a typically here 2.4% TAD. So with the change of power level, I mean you can just see if insulation changes, voltage changes. Even like we have a over voltage or we have a under voltage, we are able to work. This is the major problem in India. We don't have that problem in many developed countries that our voltage changes over a wide range, and the inverter coming from those developed countries, they trip if voltage varies over a wide range. So you have to modify the control so that the inverter work very well over the wide voltage range also without any problem. So as voltage increase, load current also increases. And of course, the grid current will increase because of two reasons. Because for the same power, voltage have increased, then current will decrease for same power. However, it will further decrease because now load will consume more power because load power will increase. With the increased voltage means increased current in the load because load is kind of passive load kind of thing. So, but it's still system that voltage reduce, under voltage still work very well with no problem. Under voltage, certainly you can see it. Current will increase because for the same power. In spite, you may have a little more power because the load might be consuming less power because voltage is less, current of the load is also less. Like, but the TAD you can just see around, I mean, 2.6% all of that of the grid current like also. And even the voltage, if it is distorted, it is the case what we really modify the control in a manner, the voltage is quite distorted, 7.8% TAD, but current TAD is still maintain 2.1%. Much lesser than, I mean, the reason being the, like voltage is a, I mean, grid responsibility. They may not be really having a quite good grid, but the, I mean, you penalize the, let's say the manufacturer of this system that your TAD should not go more than 5%. So it is possible by proper control that this TAD of the grid current can be reduced. I mean, less than 5% or of 2.1% order of that, like, or so. Well, this is the case of typically kind of three phase. I mean, these are the load current. If we don't put this converter control, I mean, we have an interesting case. I mean, like then because of nonlinear load, your voltage are distorted. Okay, and but when you put this converter control, the grid current can be maintained sinusoidal, and the load compensation can be provided by that inverter, and these are the inverter current. So inverter is not only really generating the power, but it is also providing the harmonics to the load. And because of that, the generation of local supplying of the harmonics of the load, now voltage are not distorted like also. And you can feed, another reason is that you can feed even a constant power if typically you have a battery also in the system like. And typically, I mean, that is the typical case. If load is removed, it work as active filter. Or I mean, but grid current still remains sinusoidal, whether it is, I mean, you can call it like a load is connected or not. So if load is removed, certainly the converter current and solar is reduced, solar power is reduced. So your current of the converter, because converter we are using for 24 hours. In the case double stage, which you are talking about, we work on double stage also, but with the certain benefit. I mean, you also might be convinced like why we really use the double stage. I mean, I ask my student to look into first on the double stage and look, double stage certainly use the double converter, the losses of both converter, cost of the both converter, size of the both converters are there. So certainly, I mean, all are the demerits associated with the increased cost, increased size, increased losses, you can call it. But you have to prove that this system is better than the single stage, then only, I mean, maybe not today and tomorrow industry will accept it, like also directly or indirectly. So we look into, I asked my student to look into, of course, all the features which were there in single stage. We are able to have a load compensation for 24 hours by utilizing this inverter for 24 hours. And apart from that, generating the solar from this to grid, that function is also maintained. And even the voltage is varying over the grid, then also it is work very well without any problem. But this putting a boost converter, we are able to reduce the rating of the devices, because now in this single stage, you can put the panel of the same voltage rating as the DC link voltage. Earlier, I mean, like this DC link voltage is related with the AC side voltage. Okay, if you have a AC RMS voltage, let's say might be 220, then you have to take a DC link of like a typically 400. And to bring it 400 volt at MPPT, it means the open circuit voltage in single stage should be certainly around 10 to 15% more. Then only you can get 400. So it means the panel voltage, open circuit voltage will be around like a 440 or 450. So if you have an open circuit voltage of 440, all the devices have to be of rating of 450 volt, not 400 volt. But in this case, you can take an open circuit voltage of this PV equal to the DC link voltage, that is 400. It means that all the devices can be of 400 volt, not necessarily 415 volt. You know, to derate the devices. That is the one benefit. The another benefit in India, especially in our country, our voltage varies here 170 to let's say 270 volt. Are able to follow? I mean, in this double stage, even the PV voltage might be varying, let's say 400 to 360, but this DC link voltage you can vary within certain range. Still the boost converter feed the power to here in relation to the AC voltage. So what we have looked carefully, if the DC link voltage we vary within certain range in proportional to the AC voltage, we are able to reduce the losses 3 to 4% in the inverter. However, the boost converter increased losses were 1%. So overall, we are able to reduce the around 3% total losses. Like, I mean, even in spite of using the double stage. I mean, like, and operating the system, and you can call it reducing the typically the rating of stress on the component also. Like, of course, we have to design properly the whole system, and all those benefits are maintained. I mean, in this system. And of course, we use the inverter again for load compensation also for 24 hours for when it is like an active filter or D-STATCOM. That is typically the control MPPT and the result. Like, I mean, so you can just see typically it is providing the load compensation. Load is non-linear, but your grid current is sinusoidal. Whether typically solar insolation is increasing, it works very well over a wide range. I mean, you can see the load non-linear, but the grid current is your typically the sinusoidal. I mean, without any problem. Like, I mean, it works under varying solar insolation level as well as varying the voltage also. I mean, without any problem. Like, so that is about typically two-stage system. We extended this two-stage system further by putting a battery here at the DC link. When we put the battery, I mean, you cannot justify the cost of the battery without putting additional features. And what the additional feature we thought of putting the battery, of course, we have a boost converter because DC link voltage is fixed. So if you don't put a boost converter, you will not get MPPT. But putting a battery here on the DC link, I mean, now boost converter can do the MPPT and putting the power. Now, what battery is supposed to give the benefit to you? We expect the battery, look, I mean, like even it takes the intermittency of PV generation, because PV generation will be varying over the 24 hours in a day. We take an intermittency of the grid because sometimes grid is there or grid is not there. We supply the power, continuous power to the local non-linear load or linear load. Whatever load is there, we give the uninterruptible power to the load, which normally you might have seen in the most of the household. You might have a domestic inverter, even in SPI. I mean, like, or the kind of UPS you have, because sometimes grid is not there. So similarly, this configuration, just adding the battery will give you uninterruptible power to the load, and mostly supplied by the typically by the solar directly, or solar may charge the battery and then you can have a power. So now there is an intermittency in the system, intermittency in the solar generation, intermittency in the grid availability, intermittency of your load also, because load also may vary. Nature of the load may vary. Still, you have to provide a good quality voltage to the load here. Okay, that is because of the battery we can do. Okay, we can do in this case here. Apart from that, when it is a system is working in a daytime normally, Because you have a battery, you can discharge the constant power to the grid, so grid should not experience any variation either load or in the solar generation. Okay, so grid, because that is the major major problem we call it of renewable, that is a fluctuating, it's varying, sometime available or not available. If you have energy storage, you can keep a fixed power to the grid. So grid will not observing whether your load is varying or your solar generation is varying. So that is another benefit we can have. And further, we can think about not adding this. You can think about on the grid, the price of the electricity changing. Not that is not in India at the moment, but many countries in the world, even in India, also cost of electricity changing 24 hours. I mean, like we interacted with a couple of both the private. You can call it the local companies like BSS and NDPL, with related to small some consultancy with them, and we ask about how the price is. They say in summer we buy 9 rupee 50 paisa and give to you at 10 rupee 25 paisa, and in winter we buy around like a 2 rupee 50 paisa. The cost of the electricity changing over the season, changing in the day to night. Okay, but of course at the moment in India it is not really reflected to the consumer, but many developed countries, and you have seen now petrol and diesel prices go on changing within 24 hours also. So same way, that time is not very far, or most of the country, the concept is that when you have a peak period, the cost of electricity will increase. When it is a lean period, cost will reduce. So battery energy storage system, many cases have been used that when it is a costly electricity, that is the concept of, you can call it electric vehicle is coming up with the smart grid infrastructure. So you can put, because you have a battery, you might have a solar also, you can put some more power to the grid when it is your electricity is costly. And certainly you can charge this battery when cost of electricity on the grid is also low, maybe in the night or sometime. So that additional benefit also putting the battery you can achieve here, okay, with this system. So we initially, of course, this system we first, of course, patented, and then we have a publication over it, concept like putting all those aspects into it. Like, of course, you use the two converter, like your boost converter as well as inverter into it, and you have a switch also here. So you have to probably control all the three component of it which are controllable, like boost converter, then the inverter, as well as the your solid state switch. Like, also. So that is. So that is about this, and this is the control of MPPT. Okay, and this is the control, of course, you can call it like a typically for corresponding to how we are having a load compensation, and it will be like how it is operating like a typically in case of your islanding mode also, and typically how it is typically the synchronization. Okay, so all those aspects are taken care typically here in this, and you have a MPPT, of course, under varying solar insolation level, and you have even when it is a isolated mode also, islanding mode also, you can just see voltage is sinusoidally, in spite is feeding the your non-linear load. So the TAD of the voltage is 1.5%, and you are feeding a load of 32.1% in like a UPS mode when it is islanding mode. Okay, also. Then typically when grid appears, grid appears here. Load is not affected because you have a battery, might have a solar generation, so load voltage is already there, and load is also already, current is there. But when grid appears, you have to synchronize this total system to the grid. So around typically 3 to 4 cycle, we are able to synchronize to the grid, and here we close the switch and grid current is start flowing. Typically, like here, and certainly the power is fed to the grid, because the typically you can just see here this grid current is out of the phase with the voltage. So we are start feeding the power to the grid because we have a surplus power available from solar generation as well as in the battery. So how the synchronization take place is around 3 to 4 cycle. Here this is the synchronization also there. Typically, like, of course, the inverter have to flow towards the grid, like, also when the grid appears, like, so synchronization is also taken care here. And this is the when the grid disappear. You can see it grid disappear, load is not affected. Load voltage and load current are not affected. Also, when solar insolation changes, load is not affected. Okay, load work very well because voltage is not affected. But of course, when solar insolation, their power on the grid might change. Also, if you are not operating the battery in that mode also, and you can just see there the grid current TAD is quite low. Even lesser than the voltage TAD, which earlier also I have shown. Voltage TAD 1.7, grid current TAD is 1.3% or so, order of that. Like, so that is about typically your single phase system. Now coming to three phase system, we did all this exercise for three phase system like a single stage. And this inverter is supposed to not to do MPPT. This also convert the DC power to AC power. and then provide the load compensation also, because you might have a local load. So it provide compensation so that the grid current are at unity power factor and no harmonics, no reactive power flow to the grid. I mean, so whatever power is consumed by local load, we don't expect local load to be very high. Might be 10 to 20% only local load. Typically, the remaining power goes to the grid or so. But what I mean, the local this load could have been creating power quality problem to the grid. So we use this inverter for improving the power quality also, along with the all other function as a solar inverter, like I mean, or so. And these are typical control for load compensation and operating this inverter in that manner. And you can just see grid voltage, grid current, where the load current is quite non-sinusoidal, I mean, kind of, and you have a inverter current, because inverter is not only converting this your solar power into the AC power, but it also providing the harmonics and I mean harmonics here of typically of as well as reactive power of the load, so that grid current are sinusoidal, I mean here, and they are out of the phase from the your voltage, because power is fed to the grid like also. And you can just see typically under I mean unbalanced nonlinear load also, because load is now single phase. Even unbalanced load, grid current are balanced, so converter is able to provide that compensation also. Load is unbalanced and it work very well with no problem like. And this is the typical case when your load is suddenly put on, I mean like and how the control takes care of this. I mean grid current are not affected, like grid current remains quite intact with varying, I mean like under solar variation also load variation, low one phase load is varied, still the you can call it the grid current are not affected. Only the magnitude of the grid certainly will increase, because if one phase load is removed, the power consumed by the load now line to line, one phase line to line load, so power consumed by load is reduced, so more power will fed to the grid, because solar generation is fixed like also. And how the with the solar generation, how the system is working without much problem also. Then we work on the double stage also in three phase also. I mean, you have a boost converter again, all the taking a benefit what we discuss it, and the voltage source converter. Now voltage source converter, I mean, supposed to take care of like now, of course, regulation of DC link voltage within certain limit and compensating the load, also converting DC power into AC power, and take care of all power quality problem on the grid, and power factor at grid is maintained unity like I mean also. And this is of course the control for load compensation. I mean like you have to extract fundamental and then control the grid current to sinusoidal, and DC link voltage regulation also for typically in that case, and MPPT also. So all concept are put it here, that I mean your load is unbalanced here, but the grid current, because load unbalanced means one phase load is removed, the power is now load consuming less, so more power have to go to the grid. But grid current remain balanced and sinusoidal at unity power factor with the voltage. And if solar insolation also changes, grid current certainly increases as the inverter current also increases, but it still provides the compensation or so. And then of course, you can call it like a how it is varying over. If voltage variation is also there, then also it work very well without any much problem. Like also. And under fault also, nowadays new standard has come that inverter should remain connected even if there is a fault on the grid, because you can bring, when the fault is removed, you can bring the inverter quickly into the full control mode, or if the reactive power is needed by the system under that contingency condition, you should be able to provide by the inverter if required. Like so, all those now new standard has come, and this is the typical result. You can think about the TAD of the your typically of the your grid current of 5%. Okay, when the voltage TAD was also 3.1% and load was TAD was 26.3%. So it providing the load compensation. You can see the grid current. I mean, like at typically unity power factor. I mean here, and with the minus means power is fed to the grid, like, and load is consuming this 1.51 kilowatt out of that, like. And typically the dynamics result, I mean one phase load is removed, so load remains like as you this load is removed, the another phase current becomes line to line, only single phase one line to line is there, and obviously the your grid current increases because more power fed to the grid, like I mean also. So it works very well with, yes. And then let's say it was operating in DSTATCOM mode when the solar generation was not there at all. It was providing the harmonics, and when the solar start coming up, it automatically switch over to normal mode along with the compensation also. And even if voltage are unbalanced, the system work very well. Okay, with the balance current without any problems. Okay. I mean, in such a cases, like in India, we have a voltage unbalance, voltage distortion. We have to modify the control even for typically for voltage filtering, also not only filtering the current, like in this system. Like, I mean, you can just see the voltage how it is distorted with the 13.2% TAD, but the current TAD is only typically order of, I mean, only typically like a 4% only, like or so. So virtually the control takes care of that. Your current TAD still remain quite low also. And this is of course the your 4 wire, we extended to 4 wire system also connecting, because providing you can have like a load current, neutral current compensation also with the help of this, and so that the grid neutral current can be mitigated. So whatever the load takes the neutral current, you can provide by fourth leg here, doing all other functions also intact in this system like also. And these are control, and you can just see here typically grid current are sinusoidal and balanced. Okay, and it takes care of the neutral current compensation also without any problem like also. Like, and the load is one phase load is removed, still it work very well. Load is removed, load is injected into it, so it work very well also without any much problem like also. And even like a neutral current compensation is also taken care in all the cases. Typically it work well, and over voltage under voltage case also it work very well. Like, so when you have a under voltage, the current will go little certainly high or otherwise like also. And the operation with. So then we extended this also 3-phase system also with putting a battery, but now we put the battery with the buck boost. Putting this buck boost with the battery, given a many advantage. One of the, of course, it because battery there, so all the benefits I explain it is remain there. But putting this buck boost battery, of course, you are putting one more buck boost converter. So certainly cost, size, and weight is associated. Provided you should get benefit. So one of the benefit that now battery voltage rating you can decide according to battery capacity. It should not be same as the DC link voltage. The another benefit that because you are controlling these two switch either for charging or for discharging, you can control this current of battery with no lower order harmonics like second harmonic. Because in this case, second harmonics will be there on the DC link, because that is the nature of the system. Either you have an unbalance in the voltage or unbalance in the current. Okay, of this inverter current, either unbalanced, which can be there, the second harmonics will get reflected. So that goes to battery directly connected, it goes to the battery. And moreover, the battery voltage have to be fixed equivalent to so that system work very satisfactorily. Now this voltage is independent from this battery voltage. Okay, or so. And battery you can take even for maintenance also out, and system can still work for generation. So that reliability also it is there in this system like. And of course, I told you like, you can still go on feeding the load with good quality of voltage here. Even grid is there or grid is not there. Solar generation is there or not. So battery takes care of all variation of the generation, variation of the grid, interruption of the grid and variation of the load also it takes care of that. And these are typically the control correspond to this, and how if your voltage get distorted, with the non-linear load, if this converter is not connected to there. But if converter is connected and typically, it worked. So this is about the typically same I was talking when grid recovers and it go on synchronizing like, those features are typically taken care there. Or by switching of the inverter, it takes care of improving the voltage profile also. So when the typically the load voltage was grid voltage was also distorted because of non-linear load, but when converter bring into this service, then the voltage get improved like in that case also, and it work well without any much problem under. So even a non-linear load current is quite like you can say typically the standalone also the voltage THD is maintained all three phases is 2.6 or 2.7 or 2.4% while feeding the non-linear load like also. So with this, we'll like to close the solar part. Now we'll like to come to the wind energy conversion system, some configuration of wind energy conversion system and converter used for wind energy conversion system. Why, like we have like here the wind conversion system, typically with the pound synchronous generator. Okay. And I told you different unit, but this is case of like a kind of standalone system. So not only the wind, we have again solar integration also, we have a battery integration also here. And typically why, you have both the available power, you can certainly, generate from both with the MPPT. And here what is done, typically the sensors from your turbine side or generator side, mechanical sensor are eliminated by sensing the electrical currents and DC link voltage. The position and speed is estimated for MPPT of this PMSG. That is one novelty. And of course, solar boost converter also put the voltage here, power here on this DC link voltage on battery, and you are able to feed the load uninterruptible because you have a battery, you have a solar and wind. And of course, you can reduce the battery capacity because you might have two sources available at different time also. So this is typically the control of, because this control we put corresponding to typically here on the PMSG for maximum power tracking, it should be sinusoidal current. But of course, here voltage should be sinusoidal because you are feeding the load. But load current can be non-sinusoidal or unbalanced also. So it works well under all these conditions. So these are the typical control of PMSG, control of your load side converter also. And this is the performance that okay, you have a voltage quite sinusoidal across the non-linear load also without any much problem. And typically the position estimation of PMSM, it work well PMSM current and also without any much problem by estimating this. And wind speed variation, okay, and typically how it is changing with the wind variation also your wind generator current variation also all are taken, but load is not affected. You can see load current is the same also, and solar variation also, it also not affecting the load because load voltage remain intact as well as current are there. Like, and solar, when the solar variation MPPT is maintained, like, in that case as the typically like, and load varies also, it work very well with no problem, and the load variation also. So that is about, let us say, we have the another case I told you, like a DFIG. Why it is becoming popular, because this machine can generate, like a probably around 50% more power than your capacity of this. So you can take like a 150 kilowatt wind turbine and take a 100 kilowatt DFIG, because normally this induction machine designed for a particular power for maybe 0.8 or 0.85, but you can by this putting a reactive power from the rotor side, you can maintain unity power factor here, and you can have a this current more than the typically this current now can be only active current. So earlier it was, let's say, 0.8 power factor, now unity, so you can certainly feed around 125% more power on the stator, and around highest speed you can have around 30% of that on this side also. So 120 of 30% of 120 also around 35%, 36% from this side you can generate corresponding to maximum speed of this, like also. And then of course this converter can regulate the voltage and frequency here to feed the variety of the load, like also with this DFIG also. So that is the typical control. The benefit here is the major power generation is from stator side, which are not processed through power electronics. Okay, the only smart amount of power is only processed there. We look into that. If you provide the reactive power for this machine, that is slip times typically the power reactive power which you could have had from the stator side. So certainly you can understand the power flow in the DFIG is less now. At least for reactive power part, like also. And battery give, if wind varies, power varies, the battery gives certainly the uninterruptible power to the load, like. So it works well with the proper control. You have MPPT also. In this standalone system, you have like a frequency control or MPPT control. So typically the MPPT control is done by the torque producing component of this current, and typically the slip. There is a slip also in vector control, slip frequency that controls the stator frequency. And typically then you have like a voltage control with the help of your IDS of rotor current, like IDR of rotor current to control the voltage on the stator side also. And this converter of course take care of all the non-linear harmonic reactive power of the load also by, of course, where the voltage is regulated also. So it works very well with the power control, and system is built, and you have here the voltage and current of the generator, which is sinusoidal, where the load is non-linear. So grid side converter, or you can call it the converter on the typically on load side, it takes care of those all the eventuality of that, and TAD of the generator current is maintained to 4.2% or order of that, like and where the typical the voltage TAD only 3.8% when the load TAD was 32.3% also, like. And how the like a rotor frequency, your stator current, rotor current, and the voltage on stator. So how it is, and when your wind speed is varying, okay, if it is coming from up to low, it passes through like a synchronous speed, and synchronous speed the typically you can call it, it will become DC exactly on that. And you can see the rotor current for all three phases, how they become DC at synchronous speed. So you are going from low speed to the typically high speed, subsynchronous to super synchronous, how it is changing, like the things like and how it is when wind speed varying, sometimes it coming below synchronous speed, above synchronous, below synchronous, and that is typically the rotor current variation. You can see that can give you idea that how wind velocity is varying, because the stator current frequency remain fixed, like feeding the load. Like, yeah, any question?
अच्छा, तोर फोने 38 टैप कर.
Well, the another system we have like a synchronous generator. It's called cage induction generator with a wind turbine. Okay, with vector control of this, and then we have a solar also. We have a battery with the buck boost also, and typically we have a grid also and non-linear load.
Yes.
So we can feed, of course, from wind as well as solar. We can feed to the grid, supply the non-local load also. And since battery there, it takes care of the your let's say the intermittency of the wind generation, solar generation, and load, as well as availability of the grid or not there. So it takes care of all into that, and these are the, of course, the different control maintaining. The DC link voltage is normally now controlled with the your buck boost converter here. Typically in that case, like, because you can charge the battery, you can discharge the battery, or you can feed the constant power also. So a lot of modes can take place in this kind of system, like and MPPT of the solar, okay, and the component converter control and motor, that is machine control from the your squirrel cage induction machine with the vector control, like it work with the MPPT also in that case, like, and synchronizing and islanding control, I mean, of the system. Then even the voltage are distorted of the grid, it's also work very well without any much problem. That is under distorted voltage case also it work. So system is built, and you can see the voltage and grid current and grid voltage and the load current and converter current on the grid side also, and TID is reduced to off grid current drastically. Even a voltage is distorted, still grid current remain quite good, like in that case. And solar power generation, okay, and of course the you have a solar power increasing, decreasing, still system work very well with no problem. And the load is removed, load is added, still system work very well with no problem. Of course, accordingly the your current of the grid may vary, as it is shown here, like but load is not really affected by that, like also. So that is about how it is working under different operating conditions. Okay, this system, like and grid is there, grid is not there. So grid synchronization, this is the typically grid synchronization. You can see load is load voltage is there, and load current also there, and grid appears here. So after few cycles, it's synchronizing to the grid, and grid current start flowing after the synchronization. As the synchronization clearly you can see here. Okay, and when the grid disappears, there also system work very well without any much problem. Then we of course extended that for the charging infrastructure concept. Okay, that you have a typically wind, you have a solar, you have a grid, you have a household load. Grid may be there or not. The vehicle battery can supply to this, wind can supply to this, solar can supply to this. So you can think about how many converter. But why we are taking in a small unit the permanent brushless DC generator? Because you can take a diode rectifier, boost converter, it work MPPT like a solar as you are doing here. Okay, and no need to sense neither the speed of the position or speed of the generator. And it work with the Cauchy square current here, the boost, because you said this current is constant, and diode rectifier before then that will be Cauchy square current, which are ideal current in permanent your brushless DC generator. For a small unit, it becomes a very cost effective in the sense that you are not putting very complicated converter. Apart from you are not putting any sensor, neither the current sensor, nor the voltage sensor, nor the position sensor, okay, nor the speed sensor on the this side. For a small unit, it's quite okay also, and solar side also. And this local load can be fed, like, of course, from this side also, as well as from grid side also. But this converter takes care conversion from this DC power into AC power. Apart from that, it takes care if grid is not there, it work in like a your islanding mode also to feed this local load and provide the good power quality on the grid when grid connected, like. So that is a feature of all I told about the system, and this is how the DC bus voltage regulation there, why how the MPPT of solar is there, okay, typically, and how the typically your battery charging of EV there, the solar MPPT, VAX MPPT, wind energy conversion MPPT similar to the solar because it's also boost converter. Then the typically the synchronization, okay, how the synchronization taking place, and in islanding mode control. Also DC link voltage control of the typically the battery, and these are the typical results, like, okay, if load varying, it's not going to affect like a grid your local load islanding mode also, okay. Islanding mode voltage you remain have a sinusoid when you feed the varying load even of non-linear nature. And if the wind generation changes, solar generation changes, system work without any much problem. Because you have a battery there, a load also changes, also it does not cause any major problem in operation of the system, like also. And active filter mode, when the solar generation is not there, so you will have this converter operating as active filter in that case. So another system we look into like a solar with the battery here, and wind also with the synchronous reluctance generator, which is new generator, better efficiency than squirrel cage induction generator, okay. And then with the battery, and it work again, you can feed the constant power to the grid, or you can feed the only sinusoidal current, balance current at unity power factor to the grid, And this system takes care of the linear, non-linear feeding uninterruptible power to this because battery is there. So it works well with the proper control on the grid side current, and you can say grid current is sinusoidal, and the grid current TID is only 2.4%, where the load TID of this load 24.7% or so. And when voltage of the grid is also distorted, still we have a typically the grid current having a typically sinusoidal without any much problem. So it works very well under those conditions also. I mean, like also. So coming to typically, these are the typical system for wind energy conversion system. I mean, given like what converter, what kind of system you are going to use in that case. So summary of grid connected converter, of course, and some of the system for hydro, like coming to up. Well, we work with the small hydro, considering that the load controller. So you have a hydro like a run of river type or canal type. So we use the squirrel cage generator with capacitor excitation, and we put this voltage source converter here, 3 single phase voltage source converter. We take care of the typically of the 4 lag. It's a 4-wire system for the load. So this takes care with the auxiliary load frequency control as well as voltage control of this system totally, like and this is the control which we put neural network, at a line based control for the compensation. And you can see the typically your terminal voltage and your typically the generator current. Okay, the template of course and load is unbalanced, and still your generator current are not affected also. It work very well even also. When load power is also varying, it's not affecting like the generator current, because typically the load compensation takes care of that, like or unbalanced current, unbalanced load also, it work very well also. And voltage TID still maintain 1.36%, and you have a typically the generator current TID 3 point, but load current TID was quite high, 46, because of single phase. And these are the typical experimental jet. So it work. The converter work like not only the typically for excitation, but providing the harmonics also, as well as reactive power, as well as providing the negative sequence current also. Of course, neutral current compensation also, as single phase loads, 3 single phase loads are connected here. So neutral current problem is also there in that case. So it is also taken care by this 4th lag of the converter. You can see the 4th lag inverter neutral current. It takes care of that. One phase load is not there, so neutral current is also, and even then neutral current was there because of 3 square wave are added, so you will have a current like. So it work very well without any problem. And your voltage TID is only like a 2.4%, because it's a standalone system, and current TID of the generator 4.7%, where the load current TID is 41.8% of this load. It's a single phase load. So we also work out that if in place of this, of such a maybe like a kind of wind, you can have a battery here, and it work well with the squirrel cage for constant speed generation. So, and with the experimentally also it work very well. And then with the uncontrolled hydro again, you can have we also, one of my student work that such a system, because earlier we were dumping the power either to the resistive load, or we were dumping to battery, so capacity was the issue. If you are to extend such a generation system like a uncontrolled hydro turbine like canal or run of river for high power rating, we should not waste this power. And we can have here the converter, an inverter system operated induction motor for the pump. And this can work as a load controller as well as voltage and frequency controller here. So load can be unbalanced, load can be single phase, 3 phase, non-linear, linear. So this inverter takes care. This is the inverter which convert this AC into DC, and it takes care all power quality problem and regulating the voltage and frequency also here. And you can consume whatever remaining power load is not consuming, it takes that power, so that frequency is also regulated here. So this is the typical control of this, and we use this index available drive available, and for frequency control, the drive speed is controlled so that it can consume different power for pumping the water of different amount for like overhead tank or some like that. So these are typical result, and non-linear load also it feeds the variety of the loads it feeds, it work very well. And the voltage is only, you can think about only 0.7%, where your load current is 15%. So we are able to run the generator little lower voltage up for 240 volt, 220, and that reduces the harmonics in the generator current, and saturation is avoided because we are putting closed loop control here of this generator. And this is when the load is varying, how the voltage and frequency are regulated. Okay, and if load is changed, if load is increased, the speed of the drive reduces. If load is removed, part of the load is removed, you can see. Here the load is applied, so speed of the drive reduces to regulate the frequency. And here if load is removed, the speed increases to regulate the frequency of this. So these are all experimental result. It works very well, the system. Part of load is removed, then it takes care. Okay, converter takes care there. Then we work out for single phase also all these aspect like putting like one benefit of this have been in single phase that this machine is, we are able to use 3.7 kilowatt machine is able to give 5.5 kilowatt output. I mean, we are able to take hydro turbine like a 5.5 kilowatt, and because we are working as a balanced two-phase machine corresponding to one operation, and we are operating at constant power output with constant power input. I mean, and then this load controller takes care of operating the machine constant, varying the load like. So that is again for maybe of canal type or run of river type, and it work very well. I mean, with the varying the load also, non-linear load is feeding, capable of feeding all like, I mean, and voltage and frequency is also regulated in this case also with variation of the load also. Another system with hydro and solar we took it here, okay. Again, hydro, uncontrolled hydro, we put synchronous reluctance generator because this is more efficient than induction motor. Put a capacitor, and this converter takes care of voltage and frequency control, extra power. If it comes to the battery. If load is increased, power comes from the not only from solar, from battery also to feed the load. So what I mean, we have a hydro maybe of canal top and solar also on maybe on canal top, and you can use this system for feeding the variety of the load, local load with such a standalone system. But you can see what kind of power converter we are using here for solar as well. As this converter have a more responsibility, not converting this power DC power to AC power, but it can absorb the power into the battery from this system and regulate the voltage and frequency at this here and take care of the power quality problem, the load current, unbalanced current on the load or all like here like. So these are typical control. We are able to work. I mean, you can call it work like a harmonic compensation also. I mean, like of the load, and your TAD of the voltage maintain 2.8% or so. With the generator current TAD of 4.8%, feeding the non-linear load of, I mean, variety of 24.8% TAD or so. And when you have a solar insolation varying, also the system work with constant voltage, constant frequency without much power or so. Well, this is the typically, I think, system extended to 4-wire system. That's the only variation there to take care of, because now single phase load can be like a square wave. This is another case like we took is again the wind also here. We have a solar, we have a wind, okay, BLDC, as well as we have a hydro. So all three, and we have a, I mean, typically not only a load, non-linear load, but we have a dynamic load. Okay, because we have all three sources here. But since it is a battery with buck boost, so you can avoid the converter in the solar also. So this system is also controlled and work very well with voltage and frequency control without much problem, feeding non-linear load, variety of the load also. Also, and load is varying, like load is removed, part of load is removed, added. It still work very well with the voltage regulated and frequency regulated without much problem. And then of course we put here also boost converter and all three generators, 4-wire system. It work very well with the voltage constant frequency. Even the solar is varying. Typically typically wind is also varying. Then also it work very well. So with this, I will like to close. If you have any questions, I will be happy to answer. These are some of the references on which this work is based. Like, thank you. Back to you. If you have any question, I will be happy to answer. I hope it's enough exposure. Okay.